Our first topic, Brian, is one that I don't want to say it comes with controversy, but a lot of people are on one side or the other with this, and I was definitely planted on the I don't like this move when it first went down, and I have slowly started to come over to the other side of this after I've watched some film.
I can be very convincing as well, Vince.
Well, and that's the thing. I've watched the film. I've watched you break it down. We've talked about it. But that is the arrival of grad transfer Jack Coan and what that means to this team. And I think we can both agree he is the presumed starter. And that's okay. And originally, and I want to say this, originally when they got him, and I knew that he was going to be the presumed starter, I was like, well, great. No competition, just give it to the grad transfer, and we're just going to do this all over again. And I was really not happy about it. But once you and I talked about it a little bit more, I'm okay with it as long as whoever that number 2 guy is gets legitimate playing time with the ones. If that occurs, I'm on board. I am on board with this particular decision. And I want to make sure that he also wins the job. Like, I want him to be the best quarterback in the room right now. Now, is he the best quarterback, with the highest ceiling in that room? No, I don't think that he is. But is he the best for this team in 2021? I think he probably is. And so I'm okay with that as long as that is a clear-cut situation, and whoever the number 2 guy is who's going to be here in 22 is going to get some ample playing time.
I think also for me, Vince, I'd take it even further that if he doesn't play well over a period of time, whether it be practice or more likely games, that they be more willing to make a move than they were with Ian Book. Yes. That would be my other thing. I just don't think that's going to happen because I think Jack Coan's going to play well. I think some things need to happen from a coaching standpoint to make sure that he's getting that opportunity to go do that. But I want to make sure that he's playing well and not just – to me, I'm okay with him being entrenched as a starter once he got picked up. I mean, I was been adamant about that. It was a move that made a lot of sense for Notre Dame. But at the same time, he also needs to earn it and then earn keeping it. And that hasn't always happened. So that's kind of my big question mark. But I was excited about it. Well, let me rephrase. I thought the move made a lot of sense when it happened. And when I look at the question marks of the depth chart, Brendan Clark's injury, is Drew Pine ready yet? Is physically ready yet?
Sure.
Mentally, I think he's ready, but is he physically ready? Tyler Buckner hasn't played football in over a year. And in the last 3 seasons, he's played 1 season. He missed the 2018 season with an injury. He missed the 2020 season because of COVID, not his fault. Neither really are his fault. But the fact is yes, he's highly ranked and he's incredibly talented, and I gave him a 5-star upside, but he also hasn't played a lot of football. And freshman quarterbacks rarely come in. And for every Trevor Lawrence, I can name you a Joe Burrow, I can name you a Michael Vick, a Jameis Winston, Dwayne Haskins, and we could go down a long list of quarterbacks who didn't play as freshmen. So,
and that's okay. I'm really okay with Buckner not being the starting quarterback. I'm okay with that. Like I said before, my thing is he needs to get time with the ones. He needs, not just mop up time where he's handing the ball
the
off.
number 2 job.
Bingo.
Yes,
absolutely agree.
Now, for me, the thing I'm excited to see about Jack Coan from a spring, or at least maybe I'm excited to hear about Jack Coan this spring, and we've talked a little bit about it already, is how quickly does he take on that leadership role? That's something that's important to me. How quickly does he step into that lineup and say, "Hey, look, guys, I got this. This is my job. We're going to be fine. Just and just kind of have that. Let's point everybody in the right direction." I mean, this is a guy that led Wisconsin to the Big Ten championship game in the Rose Bowl. So the big moments at Notre Dame aren't going to necessarily be
big moments.
They're going to be big moments. He's not going to be unprepared for them.
Right.
It is my big thing. He played at Minnesota in a late November game with the Big Ten championship on the line against a 10-win Minnesota team who was finished that year ranked 10th in the country.
Sure.
Went and beat Auburn. He's played at Penn State. Didn't play well at Penn State. That was as a redshirt or as a sophomore. But he's played in some of those big environments. He's played at Columbus. And so there's no environment that he's going to be unprepared for.
Sure.
Now it's just about, okay, now go execute. And that's important to me. And when, especially when you're at a place like Notre Dame where there's no rebuilding season at Notre Dame, not in your 12th year as the head coach, not when you've recruited the way that they have. Now we're going to find out if they can get to that next level. And look, the reason that we're starting off with this is because look around the country. If you don't have great quarterback play, you don't always have to have a great quarterback, but you have to have great quarterback play.
Yeah.
And if you have big time quarterback play, then you have a chance to go take that next step as a program. And I think Jack Coan, if put in the right situations, has a chance to be that guy. He's going to have a good supporting cast. In some places, a very, very, very good supporting cast. And there's some question marks about that supporting cast, which we will get into.
Yep.
But I think Jack Coan's the kind of guy that can make that supporting cast better. And this is not a popular opinion, but I don't think that was always the case in recent seasons where they had a quarterback that could make the receivers around him better. I don't think that NFL scouts have talked about that when they were evaluating Chase Claypool and Cole Kmet last year. Great leader, tough kid, and then he could make some individual plays, when things broke down, but he wasn't a guy that was going to go out there and put the ball into tough spots and take those chances and give the players a chance to really go out and make plays with any kind of consistency. And I think Jack Coan will do that. And the reason I believe that is because I watched him take some of those shots and some of those chances at Wisconsin. And I watched him complete 69% of his passes while being aggressive, attacking the middle of the field, taking one-on-one shots. And he didn't have Michael Mayer and Avery Davis and Kevin Austin and Braden Lindsey and Kyron Williams. Oh, he had Kyron Williams. He had Jonathan Taylor. So he had a pretty good running back.
He did have a pretty good running back.
But at the other positions, I mean, he didn't have, to me, the depth of weapons that he's going to have at Notre Dame. So that's something I'm excited to see. And to me, that's going to be one of the big storylines coming out of the spring is Jack Coan. Does Jack Coan cement himself as the starter? And if Tyler Buckner or Drew Pine or Brendan Clark are challenging for the job, my hope it's because they have just played that well, not that Jack Coan hasn't recovered from the injury, which is a concern, the foot injury that cost him all of last year, or that he just hasn't adapted to the system or whatever the case may be, just not on the same page with the receivers. I don't want to hear that. And, and that's why Tyler Buckner or Drew Pine or whoever is challenging him. I want it to be like, Jack Coan has done really well. We're really confident in him. But boy, Drew Pine or Tyler Buckner or both are just playing great and they're really making it a hard decision. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then that they can battle for that number 2 job in the fall. And then to your point, get one of those guys an opportunity to get on the field. So that to me is the number one storyline that I'll be focused on. I don't know how much we're going to hear about it.
Right.
But we're going to do our best over the next month. Yeah. We're going to do our best over the next month to try to do some digging and try to talk to some sources to figure out how things are going. But that's something that look, eventually when we get to September, we're going to find out whether it's going well or not. But yes, I'm looking forward to hearing from people that I trust that, hey, things are looking good. This player's looking good. And I have a lot of confidence in what Jack Coan brings to this offense.